Alright, yo, what is up, guys? Now, I just wanted to make a quick tutorial on how to make a virtual machine for scam baiting. For those of you that do not know what a virtual machine is, it is basically a version of Windows that is isolated from your physical version of Windows that's running on your physical machine. So, in order for this to work, you'll need to download something called VirtualBox. It allows you to create a virtual machine, and you could go to the downloads and you could see, depending on what you are, Mac OS, Linux. Now I'm on Windows and most of us are, so you just click on Windows. Now you can see it's installing the exe. Now I'm not going to, considering I already have it installed. But once you have installed VirtualBox, you want to open it up, and then you also want to grab an ISO of a version of Windows. Now I'll be leaving all these links below in the description, and I'll be leaving two links for Windows Vista for a 32-bit version and a 64-bit version. Now I'll recommend going for the 64-bit version, and for those of you that are wondering why I chose Windows Vista, it's because it's quite easy to scam bait with. It makes you look quite vulnerable to the tech support scammers if you're using quite an outdated version of Windows. Yeah, so once you have all of those downloaded, depending on what you would pick, 64-bit or 32-bit, you want to open up VirtualBox, click on New. You want to make the name Windows Vista or whatever you would like. Make sure the type is Windows, and the version of Windows Vista is either 32-bit version or the 64-bit version. Make sure this is correct depending on what version you downloaded, otherwise this could go wrong. So I'm going to press 64-bit version because I downloaded that. Press next. Now this is kind of up to your choice how much RAM you would like for the virtual machine to have. Now this cannot exceed how much you have on your physical machine, but I'll recommend giving it around 2 gigabytes of RAM if you can, for the virtual machine to run smoothly, for it to not look like a virtual machine when the scammer goes into the settings and looks how much RAM. If there's 512, it's going to be quite obvious that it's a virtual machine. So once you can click next. Now for the hard disk, you can create a hard disk now. Press that, click next. Now make sure it's dynamically allocated, and I would recommend it for it to be 25 gigs. Now this won't actually take up 25 gigs because it is dynamically allocated. It will just say it's 25 gigabytes. So yeah, just press create. Don't worry, this won't actually take up 25 gigs. And you would create it. Now once you have got it here, that is not completely finished. You want to go into the settings, so make sure it's highlighted. Into the settings and go into the storage. Now this is where the ISO comes in. You want to go into the storage part of your virtual machine, click on the empty drive, and on this little CD icon you want to click the .iso. So if you're choosing it, you could go and browse where you actually downloaded it. Now I already have it here installed, so just click on Windows Vista. As you can see, it's 64-bit ISO. Click OK, and once you've done that, you can click Start, and it should work. Make sure you have done everything correct. You've given it a decent RAM, decent number of storage. See, it's loading. It is just like Windows Vista. There you go. Once I set up a virtual machine, there you go. It's literally Windows Vista. I'll walk through a little bit because once you do press install, it will ask you for an activation key. Now we're not going to be getting an activation key. This is just a virtual machine. So just press next and click no. So just to avoid this whole, now this doesn't really matter depending on what type of Vista. Now most of us would go for Ultimate, but it just depends what you would like. Make sure you highlight the version, click next, and oh yeah, and also make sure you've ticked the box, and then click next. I accept the terms, and click custom. See, it's loading. Now it should come up with how much storage you did allocate it. So 25 gigs like I suggested for it to have a complete install. Just press next, make sure it's highlighted as well, and there you go. It's going to be installing, and it will just work just like Windows Vista would on a physical machine. And it's great for scan baiting because they can't actually get access to your physical computer or your real version of Windows. So yeah, this is great. You could also make it full screen. You could also install guest editions, which would make it completely full screen, because as you can see, when I do put it in full screen without it, it's not full screen. You can see the black area around it. So yeah, which is great. So there you go. That is how to set up Windows Vista. Once it's done installing, of course, you can enjoy the whole experience of Windows Vista. And yeah, so that's really it. And bye, guys.